Okay, hey! So, if you're having a crummy week like I am, you're gonna love this. This is a perfect little break from your desk or end of the day. Just give the core and the posture, wrist, pelvic muscles just a little bit of a break. I'm gonna jump right into it because I know it's 5 o'clock and not a lot of people are gonna jump on right now, but I wanted to just offer you the chance to move along with me for 5 minutes. If you wanna grab a mat, you can use a pillow as well. You're gonna want this. And if you're just catching this, you can come back to it later and save it. And it's such a great little unwind from your desk before you head into the rest of your day. So come on down to the mat when you're ready, and we're gonna grab our pillows, and we're actually gonna use the pillow on our backs to help us find some awareness of those posture muscles. So you don't need anything else, just the mat and a pillow, and we're gonna start on hands and knees. So we're gonna give the wrists a little bit of love. So just put the pillow down for a second, come to hands and knees, and we're just gonna start by making some circles. We're just gonna circle around and bring some movement to those wrist muscles. So I'm just going in whatever range of motion feels good and not too overwhelming. You can hop down and join me. If you're just coming on, hop down and join me. Just gonna do a little bit of after work mobility together. Let's go the other direction. Just making nice circles on those wrists. You're using your leg and hip muscles to control how much weight you're putting into those wrists as you do these circles. So if they're a little tender, you may make smaller circles. Beautiful. So let's grab that pillow. Here's where it's gonna get a little interesting. We're gonna bring this actually to your upper back, okay? So I've got it resting actually on my upper back. And then what I'm gonna do is something called a scapular push-up. I'm gonna move my shoulder blade muscles, and they get really tight. When they get really tight, they can also kind of lock the spine up a bit and then force the low back to do more work than it should. So we're gonna inhale, squeeze those shoulder blades together so my chest kind of drops down into my arms. And then exhale, push away so I'm pushing the pillow as close to the ceiling as possible. So we're just gonna go back and forth like that. And we'll do that about 10 or 12 times. Your arms are actually gonna stay locked out for this one. So I'm not actually bending and straightening the arm. Just let that elbow lock and do all of the movement just at the shoulder blade muscles. And what the pillow does is it just gives you a little cue to go on if you're not accustomed to targeting those muscles. You're gonna feel them working really quick. We've probably done a good 14 or 15 now. So we're gonna hold that nice top position. Now I'm pressing away from the floor. My shoulder blades are a little bit apart, but you can, I've got a sort of a straight line in the back. So I'm not dumping down, but I'm also not tucking or rounding under. So in that nice pressed up position, let's now make sure the pillow is in contact with the back of the head. We're gonna bring the head to touch the pillow and release. So this is called a head ramp or a chin tuck. You can do this one at your chair. We do this one in some of our Mama Reset videos, and it's something I recommend to clients, but this time we're working kind of against gravity, so it's a little bit harder. So I'm just pulling those ears back in line with my shoulders and pressing the pillow up towards the ceiling. So let's do maybe 5 more like that together. 4 more. 3, 2, last one, we'll just hold it up there in that really nice supported position. And we're gonna start to add in some upper body and lower body movement. So on our next exhale, with exhale, scoop the belly up and away while we press the points firmly into the ground. And we're gonna extend one leg and then the opposite arm. So just firing up all those posture and core muscles now. And then inhale, release. So it's opposite, alternate. So exhale, gently lifting a milkshake up the straw through my lady parts, pelvic floor contraction, opposite arm and leg go long, inhale, come down. I'm just gonna alternate for 8 more. You can do them at the same time. If you notice that your low back is dipping, or if you feel very unsteady, you could do just the lower body and just leave both arms down. Another trick with the pillow for these as we go through our, can I reach it? For the last few here is have it on the low back and make sure you're able to balance it as you shift side to side, okay? So the goal when you see these bird dog exercises for mobility and core strength is not to go as high as humanly possible. It's to create length and connection. So I'm staying tall, lifted, and square, even as I move from 2 points to 4, and then 2 points again. Last one, beautiful. So take the pillow down. We're gonna come onto your side now. You can put the pillow under your head or between your knees. And we'll lay right down. What we're gonna do here is just move the hips a little bit. So we're gonna exhale, lift the pelvic floor, clamshell the hip open, and then again, exhale the opposite way, and we'll bring the knees together, feet apart. So let's go back and forth between those. You might inhale to rotate down and exhale to rotate open, or you could just exhale at the 2 end points. Now we're taking this thigh bone and we're just rotating it inside the hip joint here. We're kind of warming it up and just activating those muscles a little bit before we go into a release. And the pillow is just giving us something to kind of target against as we rotate inward here. And that can be quite a challenging movement. So this other hand on your top hip can help you make sure that you're not rocking forward and back as opposed to actually just rotating the thigh bone. So let's go for 3 and open, 2 and open, one more time, 1 and open and relax. We'll come up and we're gonna go back to hands and knees, that same side we were working on. We're going to take out to the side now. So coming to your hands and knees position, whichever leg you had on top doing that hip rotation, let's take it out to the side into a little bit of an inner thigh release. So we kind of mobilized in here. Now we're just gonna open it up a little bit, and we're gonna exhale to pull forward. Inhale, reach your bum up and back behind you, as if you're trying to tap your bum on the top of the wall to the back of you, and then pull yourself forward. Just find the range of motion that feels good for you. This doesn't have to be a super huge rocking movement. We're just getting a little bit of movement going. At this point too, if we've been on our wrists quite a bit, if you're feeling your wrists, you could come down to the forearms, or you could go on fists, and you've got quite a bit of weight on your legs, so it's not as heavy on the wrists as it is when we're doing something like that bird dog exercise. Beautiful, one more time. And we're gonna pause in the center before we switch legs and come into a really nice moving stretch. So it's called a bootstrapper. So come onto that hands and knees position again. Don't worry, it won't be on the wrists anymore. We're gonna come one foot, then the other foot into squat. So just take a second. This is where your pillow can come in handy. If it's very hard for you to keep your heels down, you could take the pillow, put it under your heels, and that will help prop your feet up a little bit. We're gonna just lift the chest and the arms to the front. We wanna think about the knees reaching towards the middle toe, so they shouldn't be coming kind of collapsing inward. And ideally this feels somewhat restful. I know it is not a really restful position for a lot of us. If you can't stay here this whole time, that's okay. Come back down and then push yourself back up when you're ready. We're gonna transition in and out of it so that you don't have to hold it. I can already feel a little bit of stretching through my ankles because that's a tight spot for me. Take a breath here. Pelvic floor is actually getting length here, a nice little release if we can hold it. And then just bring the hands down, lift the bum up, and let the head drop. And now we're in a sort of forward fold, so we feel length in the hamstrings. So just gonna go back and forth between those two positions. You can lift the chest and the arms, and then bring them down and let the head fall down as the hamstrings get a nice stretch. We don't want to bounce in and out of that squat really, so just use some control to come down, pause, and then lift the bum and drop the head. Beautiful. Let's do that again. Bring the bum down, bring the chest up, and lift the bum up, let the head and the arms hang. So they should start to feel actually a little bit easier as we go through them, because we're getting a little bit of opening up through that pelvis. Those tissues are getting warm. You probably haven't done this much range today if you haven't worked out already. So be patient with them, give them a few reps to follow along and find their feel-good position. So we'll just come down to that squat and hold there for a couple breaths, reaching the sitting bones back, Trying to shine the chest forward. And then just bringing yourself down. And we're going to come to that other side. So laying back down, either head on the pillow or pillow can come between your knees. Just like pushing puzzle pieces out of the way. I just wanted to jump down and say hello to you. So ignore the weirdness. Let's go exhale, rotate open, and then rotate close. Rotate open. And you could prop up if it feels really uncomfortable being down here, but I just like to let my head rest, and then I try my best to keep my ears back and my head in line. So remember, you could exhale, inhale as you transition, exhale to focus on that rotation, or you could exhale one way, inhale the other way, exhale, inhale. Let's do a few more of each, reminding you that we shouldn't be rocking back and forth. We want to feel that we're still, aside from this thigh bone just turning forwards and then outwards inside the hip socket. Last one. Perfect. Pressing up to hands and knees. Let's take that leg out to the side for that really nice after stretch now. So bringing that out to the side, and then we're just going to rock. Inhale, rocking slightly back and up with the tailbone. Exhale, pull forward. Whatever range of motion and whatever pace feels good for you here. It's not a test of how far back you can get. I think about just letting the tailbone reach up to the top of the wall behind you. And then as you come forward, just maintaining that nice, open, flat, long spine. One more time. And beautiful. Okay, so coming back to a little bit of that moving work. Let's just bring ourselves up. And last thing we're going to do is just a little bit combo stretching through the mid-spine and the inner thighs, and I'll leave you after this so it doesn't get too long, but if you enjoyed this, let me know. I always need a stretch, and I would love to have you join me. So let's take the feet nice and wide. We're going to do sort of a lateral lunge, okay? So it looks like exercise, but let's not call it exercise. Let's call it stretching, okay? So we're going to inhale over to the right side and just let the bum reach back behind that right side. So you can feel that same sensation of that stretching in this inner thigh and also that pelvic floor. As I breathe in, I let it relax, and then the position pulls it into a little bit of a stretch. I can exhale, come back up to the center, bring my pubic bone forward, stack myself up in that really supportive position. I can inhale over, exhale up to that stacked supportive position. Now I promised you we're gonna add in a little bit of an upper body twist as well. So we'll just get a hang of this movement, because a lateral lunge can be a little bit challenging. Again, your knees want to point the same direction as your toes. If your toes are slightly turned out, that's okay. Just make sure your knee is reaching out towards those toes. Now, this time we'll come down, but we're going to bring the opposite hand down to touch the floor, and we're going to twist open. I can almost sort of pry myself open a little bit. Take an inhale there, really feel that twist, and then let's exhale, kind of pull yourself back up to center and stack up. Let's try that on the other side. So inhale over into that stretch, get yourself in position, twist. Take an inhale there first, and then kind of pull yourself back up like a drawstring from the head up to the ceiling. Let's just do that a couple more times, going back and forth. Don't rush it. You don't have to go at the same pace as me. Take your breath and play around with how you like to inhale and exhale when you're doing mobility work, because you may find that just taking an inhale breath and pausing and slowing yourself down is a really valuable part of that movement. Let's just do one more per side. Coming down, let's twist open. Let's do that a couple times. Bring it down. Maybe inhale, open. Exhale, down. Let's do one more time on this side. Walk your way to the center this time. Let's have a nice forward fold. My friend Laura, who you probably know if you know me, showed me this great position, which is kind of like a downward dog combined with a wide forward fold. So bring your hands to the front, push your bum back again, like we did in that hands and knees position, as if you're reaching your tailbone to the sky in downward dog. So you're actually using your arms to get a little bit of leverage and push yourself into a really beautiful stretch. That feels so good. One more time, pushing open. And then let's walk over to the left side to finish up those lateral lunges with a twist, and then we'll let it be for tonight, okay? So coming down, inhale, open. Exhale, bring it down. And then remember, it's your breath, your movement. So you could exhale, open, if that feels like better control of the twisting muscles, and inhale to relax. I go back and forth on twists. Sometimes I really like to exhale as I twist. Other times, inhale, come back to center. We'll just bring the feet a little closer together. Let the head be nice and heavy. I'm gonna attempt to do the thing that I potentially am worst at, which is slowly move. I'm gonna slowly roll up and give it a shake. Okay, it's hard to choose just a few things to do, but anything you do is better than nothing. So hopefully that felt awesome. If you got a chance to do it along with me, let me know how it felt. If you just came in and you're like, what's she talking about? Then you can hit save and do this anytime you want to break from your desk or at the end of a long day, okay? Love you. Oh, that's awesome. Thanks, Sam.